Everybody wants to crack cold paid advertising, but most of you absolutely suck at it. When you're talking about hitting $1 million months, cold paid advertising is one of the greatest possible places that you can look for a huge quantity of people that are just sitting there wanting what you have to sell, but it takes very particular ways of marketing to these people and then selling to them. There's specific funnels. There's even specific offers that you can do. And in this video here today, I'm gonna go through the best advertising practices, the best marketing practices as well, for selling to cold paid audiences, not just at scale, but also at the very beginning. We're gonna kind of talk about both. So for all those unaware, my name's Jeremy Haynes. I'm an advertiser. I've been an agency owner now for over a decade. We've helped 40 different businesses currently. We're working on 41 and 42. Hit $1 million months. And I'm not talking about one-off $1 million months. We ideally get them there and keep them there and push them up from there. For all those who are already subscribers, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us. I got another banger for you here today. Without further ado, let's dive in. So my first point is relatively simple, yet most people surprisingly never do it. When you're talking about cold paid advertising, you look at the differences, okay? A lot of people, give or take who you are, this is a majority at least from what we experience, have sold something to some type of organic audience. And unbeknownst to you, there's a certain timeline that goes past and a certain amount of consumption that occurs with a lot of your free content that's on different platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all the other places you host it. They might have even seen you at an event, on somebody else's podcast, a speaking gig, wherever. And they become aware of you, they consume an unbound amount of content that you're technically oblivious to. And then eventually by the time they finally get through your specific funnel and they get in your webinar, on your challenge funnel, to your events, on your call funnel, in your DMs, wherever it is, they're really warm and they're essentially just layup deals. Your salespeople are just cashiers. They're just glorified cashiers. They don't really do a lot of selling and they're really easy to close. And then when you finally start advertising, you realize that your warm audiences this entire time have been retargetable. These are all the people who have watched your videos to high thresholds. These are the people who have interacted with your different social profiles, no matter what the platform is. These are all your website interactions, your email lists, etc. And you get the opportunity to start advertising, and that market, specifically your warm audiences, is obviously the easiest way to step into officially paying directly to acquire customers. So you get stuck there for a little bit. You attempt to scale it up and eventually you hit a hard ceiling and you realize you're not gonna be able to get more dollars off. You gotta officially dip into cold. And then when you officially try cold advertising, in most instances, you roll over whatever the current funnel is that's working relatively well with your warm audiences, but not as well as your organic, to people who literally don't know you. And it flops. And it flops for a very clear reason. You're not replicating anything that's happened organically with even your warm advertising efforts for the most part. Content and a lot of consumption and framing material is generally what gets people sold, okay? But here's the thing. You don't necessarily have a lot of dollars when you first get into cold paid advertising. And when you're first starting off with those audiences, direct response is likely still your best bet. It can be the most cost-effective way to still acquire customers who have no idea who the fuck you are, but you have to go about it in a very specific manner. And that's what this first point is all about. You can have specific offers and specific funnels that are built strategically for people who have no idea who you are. The goal, okay, and this is very important to understand when advertising to cold audiences, people who have no clue who you are. It's just like the organic audiences. The organic people who had no clue who you are, they watch a video from you generally and it gives them a taste, okay? Just like in videos like this, I demonstrate to you value that you can turn around and actually use that ideally is gonna get you a result and make you some money. And then you realize, wow, this guy actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. And I like his style and I like the way he is. I might wanna watch more from this guy so I can try to make more money. Eventually it clicks. You finally realize the paid thing that I consistently promote in all of the videos might actually be worth taking a look at. You finally go through the funnel, and again, there's an unbound amount of content that you've consumed, so you come through really well framed. You're essentially ready to buy. Cold audiences, you have no clue who you are. You have to replicate that process, and it can be done in a few different ways. On my channel, I consistently talk about these things called content marketing strategies. Little propaganda machines that you can set up that take people who have no idea who you are, put a sequence of content in front of them. We refer to that strategy, it's my original ad strategy, as the Venus flytrap. We've since iterated on it, now have a version of it we call the Venus flytrap 2.0. That's one way to acquire cold audiences who have no clue who you are, but the easier and more cost-effective way to do it is direct response advertising with a little bit of content marketing worked in on the back end, okay? So what we typically do with clients, both at the very beginning and that we end up scaling up as as well into those audience types is build out specific offers and specific funnels that are for people who have no idea and no previous interaction at all with that brand and business. We have to think with something that is essentially risk-free, something that gives those people an opportunity to be able to consume information in a way that doesn't necessarily make them put a lot of dollars on the line to do so. And you'll still occasionally see this work really well with warm audiences too. Just because they've had historical interaction with you doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready to convert on the higher ticket thing that you ideally want to sell to them. They need something that comes first, okay? Let me give you an example of what a few of these funnels look like. If you check this out specifically, a lot of these funnels end up being things like webinars. They end up being things like challenge funnels. Low ticket to high ticket can work really well for cold audiences. You could even have like demos where you give people access to things for a small duration of time to let them really experience it. We do this as an example with my Master Internet Marketing program. We have a 7-week live class. When you buy it and we're not doing the live class, you get immediate access to the historical recordings that we've done, which are still fucking baller. And it's 7 weeks. Each class is like 3 to 5 hours in length. There's dozens of videos in between each one of those live classes. Those are the homework libraries. There's worksheets, all kinds of SOPs, financial models, just a ton of information. And it's really, really valuable. And you get lifetime access to it. We give away the first week at no cost to people. That way they can actually see that we're not full of shit. The first week, specifically in our 7-week live class, talks a lot in depth about the mindset of somebody who's digital marketing that we hold and that we encourage others to hold. And it's really good. It still gives away some tactical information like financial modeling, thinking with bottlenecks. Again, you'll walk away from that class and you'll definitely have something that makes you say, I can go turn around and make more money as a result of watching that. However, we only give you that first live class specifically, the recording. There's no homework libraries you get access to, and obviously you don't get access to any of the other weeks 2 through 7, but it works really well. It gives people an opportunity who have seen videos just like this, and by the way, there's a link for that down in the description. It gives people an opportunity who watch videos just like this, which by the way, we also take and put in front of people who have no idea who the fuck we are through cold advertising. We then do the same exact thing. We say, hey man, why don't you get a week free? It's about 4 hours worth of a class. It's really valuable. You could check it out. If that's too long for you or too much, we'd encourage that you go do this. So I'm gonna give you a few examples specific to my business, and I'm also gonna talk specifically about some offers that we've helped some clients put together. So just recently, we've taken all of my content advertising strategies and we put them into one official document, okay? And rather than putting literally every single one in there, we put about 3 to 4 of them in there. And this document looks really cool. It's got a big yellow cover on it, a little photo of me, and it says Content First Advertising Strategies. We charge less than $100 for it. There's no link for this in the description. I don't want people like you to buy that. I know people like you are more probable to just go right away to my higher ticket offers. So that's what we encourage you to do. And those are the links in the description that you'll see. However, via direct response advertising, again, targeting people who literally have no idea who I am. They've never had exposure to me. They have no idea if they can trust me. They need something that's low risk. So I can easily, in under a minute, explain the concept of what content first advertising strategies are, why they make sense, the amount of money that we've spent and made on them, roughly, and then say, hey, under $100, why not take a shot? Read through it, take some action. You're clearly gonna fuck me when you buy it if you go out and actually take action on these things. And that's the whole point. I wanna essentially bribe you into purchasing one of my higher ticket things by providing an immense amount of value up front and an easy consumable. As soon as they purchase that, we have some upsells on the back end, such as a video training library that pairs with that SOP manual. That's under $100 as well. That's an intended AOV lift effort. We're just trying to get more money out of the average buyer. So instead of being break even on acquiring cold audiences, we can actually be profitable. Ideally, you'd want to be the same. We then have a third upsell. I have all these different masterminds that I've spoke at beyond my own, and they're really good, obviously. When you go to a mastermind and you spend tens of thousands of dollars to go to an event, I generally show out for those. So we take those specific recordings, same thing, put them into a library. That one I want to say is closer to about $200, maybe even $300 in our upsell sequence. And again, just an effort to get people to upsell. We have my free book, What I Wish I Knew, Getting Started. I believe there's also availability for that on Amazon where we don't have like upsell sequences behind it, but we give that book away all the time too. It's very easy to read. It's short, it's direct, it's to the point. It's the exact way that I communicate regularly. And there's some call to actions throughout it to go and get something else that's a little more expensive, or I should say a little more costly. My point being, these are very like low effort, low risk funnels, okay, and offers that cold audiences regularly take me up on. Because again, it's very important you understand this part. If you try to take your current offer that is high ticket and the current funnels that work best for you on your organic and even warm audiences, and you just try to take them to cold and they don't work, that's where you then need to do what I just described. You have to lower the risk level and make it easier for somebody to say yes. The fastest way to generally do this is to take something a part of your main thing and break it out. Just like what I did in my example I provided to you. We go in depth into content marketing strategies in the Master Internet Marketing class. We go in extreme depth into the content advertising strategies that we've created for our inner circle members and obviously for our clients. However, due to the fact that that is a really easy thing to articulate to people, it makes extreme sense to do whether you know me or not. I can break that out of the main offer that we have, and I don't have to teach all of them. I can teach a few of them, and I can sell it for low ticket in order to create a lower risk offer, a specific funnel that's perfect for cold traffic that leads them to have a higher probability to purchase the main thing that it was broke out from. I can do the same thing with financial models. I commonly tell people how dumb they are in the advertising space for not doing basic math, but most people just don't know how. They don't have the skill of financially modeling out whatever kind of funnel they're gonna try to spend some money on. It's like a crystal ball. Financial modeling allows you to just see into the future for what your dollars are probable to turn into, or technically, you spend certain amounts and then you lose certain amounts ahead of time before you actually risk the dollars. It gives you clarity into what each specific high leverage KPI needs to be and hold at or stay above or below in order to produce the outcome of turning money into more money. Why go into an advertising process and not be exceptionally clear on how much you need to spend, how much you need to turn that money into, what all the KPIs need to be to turn that money into more money? Why just guess when you could just do the math ahead of time? That's another example of breaking something out of my main offer that's easy to teach and talk about. I don't have to teach every financial model for all the most common advertising strategies that we're going to encourage people to do. I can just teach like some of the most common strategies that they might be doing. Like maybe I do a webinar financial model. Maybe I do a call funnel financial model, things like that. My point being, in a very simplistic and super easy to execute way, I just break something out from my main product, sell that on the front end, add a few upsells to it to ideally be profitable on the acquisition of these customer types, nurture those people the same way that I would with an organic audience, the same way that I would with a warm audience. Once I officially acquire those people, I can pull off this last step. I can subsidize. This is really important to understand. I can spend money to acquire somebody and ideally be profitable, and then I can subsidize hammering the fuck out of that person with content to replicate my organic sales process via paid ads. I can hammer them via email. I can hammer them via content remarketing strategies. I can have my sales team strategically follow up and provide value to those different people that purchase those. And it becomes a low ticket to high ticket strategy. One of my clients just recently, and I made a whole video about this, did a challenge funnel where they produced a little, just shy, it was just a hair shy of $4 million, including the tickets. They produced $3.4 million on the event itself that they did. Okay, we called it a 3-day event, but again, it was just a 3-day challenge funnel. We had the client sell front-end tickets in the exact way I just articulated to you I do with my lower ticket offers. We took the client's main offer, which for them specifically, they have a $10,000 offer and a $35,000 offer. And we broke out some specific topics that people who don't know the client yet will care about learning, regardless as to whether they know the client or not, okay? We break those out into the event topics that are gonna be covered throughout that 3 days. We give a very fair price. In this case, it was about $100-ish, give or take when they purchased. There were a few upsells throughout that process after the person purchased. We had over 70% of those people show up, sold them a $10,000 product at the event. And again, we made $3.4 million in those $10,000 and a few $35,000 sales to that specific audience. Plus, on the front end, we were about 1.9x ROAS positive on the acquisition of those people to go to the event where the real money was going to be made. There's a few things to consider here. If you are looking ideally to turn money into more money in a tight time frame, something like that challenge funnel can do a really good job at that. That was about a month and a half, almost 2 months of promotion, but we were turning money into more money with the ticket sales. So we were already covering the credit card bills and the expenses of the ad dollars going into the event, okay? Like in the example I provided to you that we'll use my content advertising strategies for, I can use financial modeling for, and the few upsells associated with it. I can cover the ad dollars with ease and technically put a few extra dollars in my pocket that I can use to subsidize my Hammer Them campaigns and my content remarketing strategies. strategies and the soft costs that there are to ascend that person. And this is the intention, right? No matter what type of funnel I do, I'm ideally profitable on the front end, so I'm covering those dollars. Or if I'm gonna risk dollars and I'm not gonna be profitable on the front end, I need to have a really tight sales time frame, okay? This is the difference with organic audiences and cold paid advertising audiences that you have to consider. Organic, for you sitting here right now, there's an unbound amount of time that you could sit here and consume my content before you get to the eventual point where getting into one of my offers like the Inner Circle, where we do twice a month one-on-one calls, weekly group calls, quarterly masterminds in person right here in Miami, Florida. And we have the group chat full of rich people trying to get a hell of a lot richer. We also just added Jeremy AI to that, which gives you as an Inner Circle member unlimited messaging, voice minutes, and videos with it. You can literally Zoom and have it do ad ideas with you while you film. You can do a whole webinar build out, a VSL build out. It could be a part of your ongoing team meetings if you want me there as a consultant with AI Jeremy acting in my place. It can give you access to me in real time. And by the way, it's trained on over a decade of my material. It is impressive what we've done with Jeremy AI, and we've gotten exceptional feedback on it so far. By the time you get to the point where you actually see that link down in the description or in that pinned comment from the channel, and you say, you know what, I'm ready to take this guy up on that. I want to get a fuckload richer, and I'm tired of just getting the surface level free stuff this guy's got. I don't know the amount of time it's going to take for you to go through that process. I just know eventually you'll reach a point where the probability leans more in favor of you doing that. I don't know if this is the first video that you've ever seen from me. I have no idea, because it's organic, if this is the 6th video you've ever seen from me. Maybe this is the 6th video you've seen from me today. Or maybe you've diffused that timeline to be the 4th, 5th, or 6th video, and you're watching like one a month or one every other month. I have no idea where you're at in our current process. All I know is with organic, you'll eventually reach a point. The tipping point is just in my favor, and it's in your favor too, because all our offers are built to make you a fuckload more money. We don't make any specific income claims, but I assure you, we understand the game. You spend whatever you're gonna spend with us. Our goal is to turn those dollars into more dollars than what you spent, okay? We do it well. But to be clear, here's my point. With cold paid advertising, I have so much more influence, control, and awareness of where that person's at within our process, and I can influence it specifically based on where they're at. All I can really do with my organic audiences is just continue to pump out more content, continue to post more for them. But I don't really get to influence when they see what, like I can do with paid advertising efforts for warm or cold audiences. With cold audiences, I know that when you opt into that funnel I've got, or when you buy that low ticket thing, or when you officially get your ticket to come to whatever that event is, or when you officially book your free thing to get the demo account, whatever it is, I know that you did it. And as soon as you do it, I can deploy immediately and instantaneously a bunch of content specific to what you would likely want to see after you take XYZ of an action. And I can influence your buying behavior to tighten the time frame of when you're probable to buy. Unlike organic, where it's just diffused and random and long in some instances. So here's my point. With cold paid advertising, I have influence. With advertising, period, I have influence over what I can put in front of you, when I can put it in front of you, how many things I put in front of you. And I can quantify all of it with data and put more dollars or less dollars behind it relative to me achieving the desired frequency accounts and the desired quantity of those pieces of content I want to put in front of you. I can change things in and out as they work or don't work. I can add more emails. I can lengthen or shorten the amount of time I condense those emails. I have your information. I can have my salespeople call up and provide value-driven follow-up to you and establish communication line. I can hit you with all kinds of different offers. I have if this then that logic that I can exploit. But if I just do cold paid advertising the way that people who suck at it do, all I'm gonna do is just take the funnel that's working on organic, target people who have no idea who the fuck I am, and then just bitch when it doesn't work. You see what I'm saying? You have to go into it with a strong intention to get the outcome that you're after. But it's a slightly different game. That's all it is. It's just a slightly different game, okay? Baseball and softball are pretty similar in terms of the field that they're played on, but they play with completely different balls and completely different bats and completely different players. You see, it's completely different rule set. They pitch differently. It's not the same. They're close, but they're not the same. You can't go on to a softball field with a baseball bat and a baseball. People are gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing here? That's what happens when you fail with cold paid advertising. You roll over the things from organic, just the funnel in most instances, and fall flat on your face and wonder why. And you just blame the ad platforms or the fucking advertiser you hired. You know, when in reality it's your fault and you don't understand how the game works. So you hire people who you think do, and when you don't know how to hold them accountable, I mean, think about that. Yeah, it's a pipe dream. Ideally, you could hire somebody who comes into your business and just knows what they're doing and knows how to drive it up and has the expertise to be capable of doing so. But you don't pay those kinds of dollars to get those kinds of people. Instead, you work with absolute fucking turds and you have no idea what you're doing. So you don't know how to hold them accountable. You don't know how to train them. You don't even know how to talk to them. You just listen to what the turds tell you they're gonna do, and then when it doesn't work, you just move on to another turd, or you just give up completely. It's time to end that cycle. You need to step up and learn for the first time about one of the most important skills that exists in business: advertising and marketing. Imagine if you omit the skill of learning how to sell. How silly would that be? Would you have gotten remotely close to where you're at today if you just omitted sales and did the same thing you do with your advertisers and marketers and agency owners you work with your salespeople? No, you wouldn't be fucking remotely close to where you are if you did that with that skill set. But yet you do it with advertising and marketing because organic's gotten you to what? Couple $100K a month, a measly fucking couple $100K a month. There's two types of people that watch this channel. The people, both scenarios, know exactly what I'm saying to be true. One's just fed up enough with acting like what they're currently making is enough, and they're finally ready to get to the point where they increase their probabilities of hitting $1 million months. If that's you, link in the description. Join the Inner Circle program. Fill out the application, speak to my team. You got questions for us, we got questions for you. See if it's a good fit. We got a mastermind coming up soon, and I think it'd be really beneficial for you to be there. Either way, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Go watch some of my other videos, catch up on the ones that you missed, and go out there and get richer. Talk soon.